A few decades ago, a mysterious black stone object was found buried in a garden in Somerset, UK. Despite showing it to several people, including my family and local experts, no one has been able to identify its origin or purpose. The object is intricately carved on the front, with a design that appears both ornate and deliberate, while the back is marked with uneven, scratch-like grooves. The area has a history of Saxon activity, and various Saxon artifacts have been discovered nearby in the past, but I'm uncertain if this object could date back that far. What stands out most is the peculiar design on the top. It juts out on just one side, while the other three sides remain flat. Does this feature hold any significance? Any ideas what this thing is? The material appears to be Whitby jet, a substance found along the Yorkshire coastline. It gained widespread popularity during the Victorian era, particularly for mourning jewelry, thanks to Queen Victoria's influence. However, it has been used and carved by people since the Bronze Age, through the Roman and Viking eras. This object is likely part of a bracelet or necklace from the Victorian period. I can tell it's jet because when I rub it, it retains a static charge, attracting dust and lint. This strange object just fell out of the sky near me, and I'm nowhere near any buildings or other man-made structures. It's a white silver metal circle, about 4.75 inches in diameter, with a chipped area on the back. I distinctly heard it hit the ground, and when I looked, it was lying there. The object is surprisingly light, almost like aluminum, though I'm not entirely sure. I'm left wondering what it could possibly be and where it came from. Any ideas? It's an inspection hole cover from an airplane. There's a turnbuckle inside the hole, likely for a control cable, a fuel line connection, or something similar that the cover was meant to protect. I plan to return it to the airport, as everything on an airplane is costly and valuable. While metal detecting in Raleigh, North Carolina, I stumbled upon an ornate object. The front measures about 1.25 inches across horizontally and seems to be made of copper, though I could be mistaken about the material. The design is hard to make out in the photos, but it appears to depict a tiger and its cub, intricately crafted. On the back, there are 2 prongs, which suggests that this could have been a decorative attachment to something larger, though I'm still unsure what it could have been. Any idea what it could be? It's a Boy Scout neckerchief holder. That might be a Cub Scout one for the bear troop. It just keeps your neckerchief in place. It's called a neckerchief, not a handkerchief, kerchief, bandana, or tie, A large tank-like object was discovered on a beach in Western Australia, measuring approximately 2.5 meters in length. The object has a lid on top and appears to be cracked at the bottom, showing signs of significant wear. Small barnacles have begun to grow on its exterior, a clear indication that it has been in the ocean for quite some time. The object seems to be made of metal, with what looks like a wood-like material on the top. It is noticeably larger than a typical 4-wheel drive tank, and its weathered state suggests it has been exposed to the elements for an extended period. Any ideas what this thing is? Looks to be a perfect match for India's Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle third stage. The Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle is an expendable medium-lift launch vehicle designed and operated by the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO. It was developed to allow India to launch its Indian Remote Sensing IRS satellites into sun-synchronous orbits, a service that was, until the advent of the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle in 1993, only commercially available from Russia. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle can also launch small-sized satellites into geostationary transfer orbit. I recently found these heavy metal objects at a thrift store. They appear to be gold-plated, though the scuffed areas reveal what seems to be an alloy beneath. Measuring approximately 4.8 inches in length and 1 inch across, the objects are shaped like a small basket of flowers, complete with a handle that looks as if it was designed to hang them on something. Each piece weighs around 1 ounce. What's particularly intriguing is that I found them in Australia, yet the measurements seem to be in imperial units rather than metric. This suggests that they were either made overseas or possibly crafted before 1966, when Australia fully adopted the metric system. Any idea what it could be? These are clock weights designed for mechanical cuckoo clocks. The weights are suspended on chains, with one weight powering the clock mechanism and the other driving the cuckoo. As the chain gradually drops, the weight turns the gears within the mechanism. To wind the clock, you pull the other end of the chain, lifting the weight back up, and you do the same for the chain that powers the cuckoo. This process keeps the clock running and the cuckoo clock functioning properly. While metal detecting in a forest near Frankfurt, Germany, I stumbled upon an intriguing object measuring about 15 inches in length. The bottom of it was painted bright red. It wasn't particularly heavy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it might be something dangerous, perhaps a bomb or an unexploded ordnance. Concerned for my safety, I decided to leave it where I found it, unsure of its origin or purpose. Any ideas what this thing is? It's a British 4-pound incendiary bomb. It doesn't look very extraordinary, but this 4-pound incendiary bomb is one of the most devastating weapons the RAF has ever used. The British 4-pound incendiary bomb consists of a hollow, hexagonal, magnesium alloy body with a cast and steel head and a tin plate tail closed with a tail cap. Upon impact, the detonator ignites the primer, which in turn fires the igniter pellets. The magnesium alloy body starts to melt about 25 seconds after the bomb is ignited and continues to burn for about 10 minutes. In general, items engineered and painted red mean danger. Red bolts on bridges, red valves on submarines. I found this mysterious object tucked away in the attic of an old house. The previous owner had worked for IBM in the early 70s. The object shines incredibly bright when exposed to light, almost blinding to look at. It weighs 264 grams, and there's an M12 etched on the side. Curious about its origins, I sent it out for testing, but the results came back with no clear identification. What could this metal lump be? It's a bottom of a boule with quartz on the tip. A boule is a single crystal ingot produced by synthetic means. A boule of silicon is the starting material for most of the integrated circuits used today. In the semiconductor industry, synthetic boules can be made by a number of methods, such as the Bridgman technique and the Czochralski process, which result in a cylindrical rod of material. The ends of a silicon boule are normally tapered, and they only use the middle cylindrical section to make wafers for computer chips. This is because the ends tend to have a non-uniform shape and crystalline structure. The ends of the boules are just discarded, to later be remelted, but it's no biggie as someone decides to take one home because silicon is pretty cheap, just sand.